Hey everybody, so been getting quite a lot of emails from people about whether they can use my photos for their website or social media or whatever, and yeah, sure, they're still there. I'll link it up below. If you haven't signed up for the email list, do so. You'll get a link for all the photos. I was wrestling between charging for them or not for a long time, because it's always this weird back and forth thing, because at the same time, like, I love it, but there is a cost to it. But I'm like, well, for me, I think, you know, most people that are starting out as an acupuncturist, whether you just graduated or you just started, you don't really have, you know, $50 to $100 to pay for images for your website and things like that. So I was in that position myself. So I was like, okay, cool, I'll just give them out for free. But I think I've just decided I'm just gonna go with a donation link. So if you do use them, feel free to you know, make a donation, $5, $10, you know, whatever you can afford. If you can, cool. If you don't, it's cool as well. Don't worry about it. I was quite surprised by the feedback that people were giving me as well, and it's quite strange because a lot of marketing and coaching acupuncture coaches say, oh, you know, you shouldn't use the tools that you use. It's more about the result. So you want pictures of happy people and things like that. But for me personally, I don't use it for my website. I just like taking the photos because I like how beautiful acupuncture as a medicine is. But if you want to use them, that's cool. I have no problem with that. It's a great thing that a lot of people do like the images, and it was really funny because it was a funny story how that all came about, because I actually was a student getting ready to graduate. I wanted images, and I did a quick Google search, and all that came up were these like kind of boring, same over and over images that you'd see, you know, over and over again. And I was like, oh, well, these are kind of boring. And my wife was like, well, why don't you do photography? Why don't you do your own photos? I'm like, huh, you know, because we're living in China, and we just rented a studio, and it's really cheap over in China to rent a studio for a couple of hours. So I pretty much gave the guy a printout of what I wanted, and the owner, just pretty much had his minion set up all the lighting and everything, and I pretty much learned how to do it from watching the minion set up the lighting. So it's been about 6 years since I've been working on this project, but I don't know how long it's going to go for. Ideally, I would like to put out a book someday. I don't know. I'll keep everyone updated. Let me know in the comments if you were interested in buying a book if I were to make one. So again, long story short, if you want to use the images, go right ahead. I'll link it up below.